right, next segment we have is back from last week, but with a different twist. So I've been having a lot of fun with this. Hopefully, people enjoy this one, and hopefully, Scott, you get a kick out of this. We're bringing back reactions to AI predictions. So this is going to be another ChatGPT prompt that we gave. We'll talk about kind of general thoughts, our overall grades of how we think it did, and then, things that we think maybe are incorrect or that we would adjust. So you ready to talk NFL?
Yeah, I can't wait to hear it. I know AI is kind of taking the world by storm, and it's kind of fun to debate the AI sometimes. So yeah, let's hear what they got.
All right. So the prompt given for this was, given information on the web, provide your prediction for the 2025 NFL season, including who will win each conference, which teams will make the playoffs and their seeding, which teams will make the Super Bowl, and what team will win the Super Bowl this coming year.
Okay. Well, hey, we've already kind of talked about Super Bowl winner, and as much as it pained me to say, you remember who I chose. So yeah, let's hear what they have.
So just to remind people, you said,
I said the Ravens. That was my team to win it all. Even though I want the Bills to win, I just think it's their year. I think the Ravens are going to get it done.
and I think I said the Bills, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I don't recall.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I said the Bills. So, all right. How about this? How about if I do Oh, here, I'll let you do the AFC playoff result, and then I'll do the NFC. How about that? And then we can talk about the Super Bowl.
Okay. Yeah. So, um, obviously the four seeds are based upon or the division winners. And so it has in order the Ravens, the Bills, the Chiefs, and the Texans as the top four seeds, which are the division winners here. And then its wild card teams were the Bengals, the Broncos, and the Chargers for the AFC.
Okay.
And it actually gave a little bit of justification here. The books have Baltimore, Buffalo, and Kansas City as three of the four shortest Super Bowl prices. So that means for betting odds.
Hmm.
Chiefs are the A1 AFC West favorites, but the top seed edge goes to the Ravens. Texans keep the South despite having Joe Mixon's early absence. And then Broncos and Chargers are repeat playoff teams, both around 9.5 wins, is what it says here.
Okay. That's
Uh,
fair.
Kind of a crazy thing here is that three of those teams are from one division. But we saw that last year happen with the NFC North, so it's possible.
Yeah. All right. Let me see.
We go
Obviously,
conference
I
by
think.
conference. Do you agree Ravens will win the AFC North?
Well, no, because I think the Bills will.
No. AFC North. So the North is the Ravens, Browns,
Oh,
Steelers,
oh.
Bengals.
Excuse me. You were asking about the very specific. Okay. I mean, the only other person in there that has any shot is the Bengals. And
Yeah.
so their defense is a liability. Like their offense clearly is good. And so I just don't know that they can get there with the defense. That's the biggest problem with their team. So, yeah, I mean, I think the Ravens do win it.
Yep. And we got AFC East. They chose the Bills, which I would agree with over the Dolphins, the Jets, and the Patriots.
Yeah, I think that one's easy. Those other three teams are struggle bus right now.
I feel like the AFC South could be a toss-up. They had the Texans winning it, but the other teams are the Jaguars, the Colts, and the Titans. I don't think it's as clear that the Texans may win this year, but what are your thoughts on that?
They're certainly the strongest team. I mean, there's a lot of question marks with the Colts. Are they going to be better with Daniel Jones? They got some more offensive weapons. I don't know. The Jags, I mean, the Jags could surprise people. If there's any team in here that maybe has a shot, call me crazy, but maybe it's the Jags. That could be a very unpopular opinion. I just think the Titans also, like, they're clearly, very bad. They got the number one pick. So they're going
Yeah.
to have a huge turnaround.
Honestly, I could see any of these four teams taking it. It
Yeah.
sounds weird to say that, but even the Titans, I could see potentially having a late season surge with a new rookie quarterback, and they don't have to win a lot of games to win the division.
Yeah.
I
That's
can't
probably the
imagine
one.
the winner in this division has to have like probably 9 or 10 wins, I would imagine.
That's probably the one out of all this group that has the most question marks of who emerges, or is it close enough where there's 2 of them?
Yeah, but if you put a gun to my head, I would probably say the Texans just because they've done it. They've been that team recently.
Yep. And then it had what, the Chiefs and the Broncos?
Yep. So well, yeah. So Chiefs they had winning their division, um, but then they still had the Broncos and the Chargers, making it as wild card teams, and the other wild card would be the Bengals.
I don't think the Chargers make it.
Who do you think makes it instead out of AFC teams? You're looking at
Oh,
teams like
man.
Steelers, Browns, Jets, Dolphins, Patriots, Jags, Colts, Titans, or the Raiders. If it's not those teams,
I mean, it's a long stretch, but maybe the Steelers? Like, didn't they make the playoffs last year?
I think they did some in some crazy miracle format with how broken that team was.
I mean, if Aaron Rodgers is reasonable at quarterback, not great, I don't think he's gonna have, like, an MVP season, but if he's reasonable and DK Metcalf and they have a rookie running back, they usually have a reasonable defense. So, I would say maybe the Steelers. That'd be, I don't know if that's a hot take, but that I would say the Steelers over the Chargers.
I don't know how hot of a take that is. I could reasonably see it, but my hot take would be, and first of all, I'm gonna preface this by saying I agree 100% with the AI. I think they got it right. The Bengals might not be number 5. The Bengals could be 6 or 7. But I kind of agree with what the AI got its spot right in my mind. But if there was a team that would disrupt this, it would either be a team that won that conference in the AFC South and then kicks the Texans out, or if we had a different wild card team in, it could be the Patriots. Honestly, it sounds crazy, but they have a ton of momentum and a very, very young team. And if everyone gets hot at the right time, again, you never know what could happen there. I don't think they're going to win enough games to beat the Bills for the division, but they could make a late season push to maybe hit a wild card spot.
My only other hot take is that I think the Broncos outlast the Chiefs this year as the division champ.
Oh,
I
yeah,
know
I
a
love
ton of
that.
people will not agree with it, but I think the Broncos have a shot at dethroning the Chiefs for 1 year, this coming year.
I think they absolutely have a shot, 100%. I don't know if it will happen, but they have a shot for sure. And I think it's closer than other people might give it credit for. I think
Yeah,
the Broncos are that team. I think they're going to be so good the next 5 to 10 years.
yeah, yep. All right, so who did they have in the title game?
Their AFC title game was the Ravens and the Bills, and they had the Ravens winning that and going to the Super Bowl. And I'm just going to say that's exactly what I have too. As much as I
I
want the
swear
Bills to
you're
go,
AI.
as much as I want the Bills to be the team, I actually said this a couple weeks ago that I think that the Bills and Ravens will play in the AFC Championship and the Ravens will actually win.
I think the Bills win this year because they have the new and improved camera system.
Well, that depends on the schedule then, because they have to play the Chiefs for that to matter.
Well, they might have to play the Broncos. We'll see.
True, true. All right, tell me about the NFC. I hogged the AFC.
Okay, so NFC, in order of seeding: Eagles, Lions, 49ers, Buccaneers, Packers, Cowboys, Commanders. Some rationale: Eagles are division and NFC co-favorites and just won the Super Bowl. Their win total is approximately 11.5 in the conference. Lions are clear NFC North favorites. I don't know if I'd say that, but they're definitely favorites, but not clear. Packers are most likely wild card from the division. There's some question marks around the Vikings again for because of quarterback. 49ers, they think are still potentially strong. I don't know. I'd go back and forth between if the 49ers are good or not. Um, Commanders, I think they're underrating them a little bit here, but potential wild card with Jaden Daniels and the momentum. And then the Bucks favorites again, just because of projection of their highest wins in the division. What are your thoughts on NFC?
Um, there's a lot of thoughts I have here. I agree that the Eagles are the best team for their division. I think that they take the East. I don't think the Cowboys or the Giants pose any threat at all, but the Commanders will give them a run for their money. I think the Commanders will be number 5 or 6, I don't think the Cowboys will even be a wild card team. Those are my takes. So I'll take this one line at a time. Yes, the Eagles will win. I do think the Lions win their division as well. It's not going to be as obvious as they said, like you mentioned. The NFC West is such a wild card to me. I do not think that the San Francisco 49ers have the team to win a division this year. However, I don't think that the Rams, the Seahawks, or the Cardinals do either. So, like, how do you pick? I based upon talent alone, if everyone actually stays healthy, could see the 49ers winning. They're like the most injured team in the league over the last 3 to 4 years though. Like they have so many injuries every year. How do you measure that? And how do you predict that? So I think I would probably put the Rams in there just because they've got the experience. They've been winning that division and going to the playoffs, but not confidently. I could definitely see the 49ers winning it. The Bucks, I think I would still pick the Bucks to win the NFC South. Um,
Yeah.
Carolina and Atlanta might be a little better this year, but I think the Saints will be garbage, and I don't think those other teams will be good enough to pass up the Bucks. Now let's get to my wild card teams. Packers, Cowboys, Commanders. First of all, Commanders should be the first wild card team in my opinion. I think they're going to be the number 5 seed, if not the number, 1 or 2 by winning their division. Get the Cowboys out of there. What are we doing? Why are the Cowboys in there? Packers is fine. Packers can stay. As I'm looking over NFC teams here, I mean, I think it could be the Vikings again. Honestly, I think it could be the same situation last year where we got the Lions, the Packers, and the Vikings all going to the playoffs. If it's not them, I still don't think it's the Cowboys. And so that makes me think then, who else could be a wild card team? And then maybe it's you have the Rams and the 49ers making the playoffs then. I don't think the Cowboys do it. What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, obviously we've seen that teams like the Chiefs and the Bills and the Ravens can be good for many years. Like I'm giving these examples because the Chiefs are one that have won multiple Super Bowls and they kind of always come back. That's always my question mark and hesitancy with like the former Super Bowl winner. Do they stay at the number 1 spot in there, right? And I'm not saying like they're going to be bad by any means, but I always have that question mark because it's really the one team that has done it that's a Super Bowl winner has been the Chiefs, right?
Mhm.
Like those other teams are good every year, but if you win the Super Bowl, there's kind of like this weird, I don't know, like you've accomplished everything that you're supposed to accomplish. And so do you have kind of a lesser season? When I say lesser, I don't mean they missed the playoffs, but that's one question mark for me. I mean, does it open up an opportunity for the Commanders to, I don't know, surprisingly be like, I mean, I don't want to say they're going to win the division, but I mean, could they win the division?
They absolutely
That,
could win the division.
yeah, like
It's
that's,
not
that's,
it's not I don't think that's a too hot of a take to say that they could compete with the Eagles. I
yeah,
think the favorite is definitely the Eagles, but I think the Commanders are not that far out of contention, at least, in my mind, I think it would be crazy to think that they would be like, that they couldn't win the division.
yep, for sure. Um, I mean, in a weird way, like, I don't know, the 49ers thing is an interesting one. That division is like the Seahawks just have such question marks. Like, is Darnold going to be good? Because if he is really good and their team is legit, then
They could easily win
they
it, yeah.
they could be a surprise, but they could also be trash, right? So it's like the 49ers just have all these question marks around them. So I don't always have confidence saying that they're going to win the division. I probably like the Rams if I had to pick from there. Um, I agree the Saints are going to be trash. Panthers probably gonna be not very good. Falcons may be better. I mean, they could give Tampa Bay a run, but I think Tampa Bay just has a lot of they just got a lot of skill players. Like they're just loaded with good players.
It seems
The
like
North,
Tampa Bay can't miss when it comes to rookies and, like,
yeah,
filling in their depth positions.
yep,
They even like Egbuka, like, I think everyone thought Egbuka would be a pretty good receiver, but he is looking to be, like, really good already as a rookie. He looks
yep,
fantastic, so they just
yep,
it seems like they just can't miss with rookies. They drafted Bucky last year. He was a
yep.
breakout star, so, Yeah, tough to overcome a team like that that has strong veteran players and keeps drafting really, really good rookie players right behind them.
Yeah, the North, I mean, I think it's between the Lions and the Packers. I don't
Yeah.
think that the Vikings are gonna be as I don't think they're gonna be horrible, but I don't think they're gonna be as, strong as last year. So I definitely think those are the 2 teams that, go there. But yeah, I don't think the Cowboys will make it. I would replace the Cowboys with oh, who's not in here?
Vikings.
No, I don't think it's the Vikings. I
They had
I'm gonna
14 wins last year. Just remember, Sam Darnold was never good in his whole career. He was a perennial backup player, and then he went to this team, which hasn't really changed other than him, and won 14 games and actually got MVP votes. I
yeah.
think the Vikings still make the playoffs this year. They just might not win 14 games.
You know what? Okay, here, I'm gonna backpedal for a second. If Dak stays healthy, now that they have CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, reasonable running back, I actually think the Cowboys make it, but they're probably the last team in. So I would
Who's
put them
running the
at
ball
the
in Dallas, though? Everyone knows they're going to be throwing the ball every play. They don't
that's
have running
fine.
backs. They also might not even have Micah Parsons. I'm just
If
playing
they
devil's
lose
advocate.
if they lose Micah Parsons, I'll change my mind especially if he goes to the Packers, because then I can see the Packers even
Winning the
giving the
division
Lions
potentially.
run for their money. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the other thing we haven't even
Yep.
discussed. The Lions lost, their offensive coordinator, who is the guy who really turned this team around. Who knows what they even look like this year on offense?
Yeah. So some of this depends on what happens with Micah Parsons, but I think the Cowboys may be the last seed in. And then here's the hot take. If it's not the Cowboys, I could definitely see a scenario where the Atlanta Falcons creep in. They have a reasonable season. There's really just the Buccaneers in their way in their division. I think the Falcons could be that sneak team at the end.
I don't think it's that far fetched of a take. You might be a year off in my mind. I think they could be a playoff team next year, but I don't think you're that far off.
Yeah.
I could see it happening.
So NFC title game, it said Eagles over the Lions. Boo.
I'm gonna be real, and I like the Lions better, but I think the Eagles are a better team this year than the Lions. I think the Lions had 2 really strong years that they could have won the Super Bowl, and I actually expect them to take a small step backward this year where they're still very competitive, but I actually think that personally, I think their odds are worse this year of winning the Super Bowl than the last couple of seasons.
So who do you put in the title game? Do you like that or someone else?
It's hard to argue with the Eagles. At this point, I would have to say the Eagles. I mean, they are a very complete team. Where if one person doesn't play well, they still have every other position that's very strong. So
Well, my take is that the Lions go to the Super Bowl. So
I'd
I
prefer
I
that
see
take.
them I see them over whoever it is, whether it's the Eagles or not. But that would be for the title game, whether it's Eagles, Lions, or whoever. I think the Lions do end up there, and whoever they end up facing, they beat.
Give me a Ravens Lions or a Ravens Bills Super Bowl or Ravens Lions or Bills Lions Super Bowl, and I would be ecstatic. That sounds like a lot of fun.
The other well, okay, so then the Super Bowl. So who did it pick for the Super Bowl, Scott?
The AI, like myself, chose the Ravens to win the Super Bowl over the Eagles, once again proving that I am AI.
I swear.
It is
I
it is oddly similar, the stuff that the AI has picked, and it's picking things that I picked, like, a week prior too, so it's not like I'm just, like, saying that I chose the same thing.
Yeah, right. That's kind of why I thought this would. So okay, here's what it comes down to, though. Okay, this is my the test. I looked up what the Super Bowl logo, the colors are.
Oh,
Remember
geez,
we
here we
talked
go.
about
This
this?
again. Yep, this again. Go ahead.
So the colors are, and I could show a picture, but I'll just generally describe it. It's a blue color that looks like a lion's blue. Okay, so
Or a
I'll
Bills.
encourage you all. I'll encourage you all out there to go look it up. There is purple very distinct. It's definitely like purple slash, I mean, maybe some people call it pink, but definitely like a purplish color. There's also a little bit of red in there. There's also some hints of green and yellow. So what that tells me is Packers, Lions, Ravens, I don't know, red, Chiefs maybe? I mean, who else? This could be a lot of teams, I guess, with the red, but my point is like the colors are the primary colors that I see are the blue and the purple that stick out. And so that's why I think it's Lions, Ravens.
I think the yellow and green stand out the most. I just looked this up and the blue. So give me Packers Bills.
Yeah, could definitely see that too. But all right, so overall, Scott, what is your overall grade for the entire,
For the AI,
yeah, for everything?
I'm gonna stick with what I gave it last week, dude. I'm gonna give it an A minus again. And the primary reason that I'm not going to give it a higher grade is because of the Cowboys. That's
That's fair.
it. I think honestly, I think it nailed the AFC. I think that I could go a variety of directions with the NFC West, whether it's Rams, Seahawks, Niners, but I don't think the Cowboys make the playoffs, and that's the only thing that I feel really strongly about. I agreed with
Yep.
who it had going to the Super Bowl and who won. So actually, I'll give it an A, not an A minus. It gets an A this week.
All right. That's fair. Definitely, I think on your end of things and predictions you've made, you're definitely in line with that. I think I give it a B. I think it's a very good job, but it's not perfect, right? So it's in that like teetering of like it definitely has a lot of logical things I could see happening, but there was probably a few swaps, that I especially tried to bring up where I could see those things happening. And so I would give it a B. I think it's very much on point, but a couple things I think I definitely had mentioned for changes.
All right, I love it.
So, what are your thoughts out there? What grade would you give the AI for its NFL predictions?